Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation, in particular the the sensors. I always tell you at the New Health Conversation, we don't make any claims. Everything we're sharing with our audiences is from medical proof. It's all in the public domain so everybody can see it. There's nothing we made up. It's all accessible to all of us. We've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world and conducted over 1,500 lectures around the world. I would say this, I can't see anyone else on social media that's providing, in this case, 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies behind everything we're saying. We don't have any opinions. We don't give people opinions, and we certainly don't make claims. We just read from the medical proof, okay? Everything is medical proof. All right, so hello, Hinsud Moko, I believe that is. Queen M, hello, all of you, welcome. Now you can see up there the title, Miracle Weight Loss in Just 7 Days. It's not fake, it's real. It's not a diet, it's not counting calories. People on this protocol, which was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, are literally losing as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet any of you have ever been on. No one's counting calories. They weren't even allowed to exercise. We'll show you some of the before and afters here in just a moment. But the other thing I want to share with you is it's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Now, maybe you don't think that's a big deal. There's nothing higher in medical proof than a peer-reviewed human trial study. Also, this just appeared on the cover of Women's World, the #1 women's magazine in the world. You can read the headline, Over 50 Protein Miracle. That's the magazine saying that. This is not an advertisement. And they actually, they went so far as to write a huge two-page story on this that I'll show you in just a second. Look at this. New Protein Miracle Diet. This is going to make every diet. Now, these 2 women on the cover, I coached both of them. The daughter's 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom is 80 years old. She lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off for over 2 years. This is going to change everything you ever thought about diet, exercise, nutrition. How many of you out there would, okay, let me ask all of you a question. If you were going to lose 20 pounds, pick any diet, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, I don't care what it is, any workout, any celebrity diet, whatever, to lose 20 pounds, if you did great, how long would you give yourself to lose 20 pounds? It's really important as we move forward, because I'm going to show you some things that are going to blow your mind. Now, again, keep in mind for all of you, hello, Tammy, Eugen, Great Minds, user 850, Rosa, Joyce, Mary Lopez, Helvita, I believe, Helvita, sorry. So who would like to put in the chat, you want to lose 20 pounds, how long would you give yourself, okay? Also, if you do like the content that we're sharing with you today, you can tap on the screen. By the way, you notice I am the author of 4 best-selling books, none of which are for sale on the website that's right above my head. You can see it there in blue, The New Health Conversation. What's there? Only the medical proof backing up everything I'm sharing with you today. If you like what you see, because if you go to that website, we're not going to contact you. We don't do that. We're not like other people that are trying to sell you memberships, kind of but nonsense, right? But you see their free coaching. The coaching is 100% free, like 100% free. There's no doubt about it, okay? So I'd love for anybody to put in the chat, if you were going to lose 20, if you wanted to lose 20 pounds, how long would you take? All right, well, let's get right into it. The first woman here, Christine, that is not Photoshop. She actually lost 21.2 pounds, 38 inches in just 30 days with no exercise. None of the pictures I'm showing you now, no one was allowed to exercise. Not that the researchers were against exercise, but they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, you'd say it was diet and exercise. That's why they lost the money. I lost their weight. No, absolutely not. So let me show you 3 other pictures, and then I'll come back, and I promise I'm going to go through step by step exactly what they did. It is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It's totally different. It's based on food. It's and new ways of consuming food, and in some cases preparing food. But it was developed by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world for 40 years. They did 100 studies, thousands of people on every diet out there, and came to one conclusion. Whatever we're doing diet-wise is not working. When you got people like major medical proof here. Let me just find it. I know I'll find it somewhere. Oh, here it is. John Hopkins Medical School. Listen, John Hopkins Medical School study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. Are you going to be, which part are you going to be? You're going to be at the 86%, or you're going to be with the 14% that aren't overweight or obese in just 4.5 years. This thing is out of control, ladies and gentlemen. You're all out there counting calories. Again, question number 2. Can anybody give me the actual definition of a calorie? What is it? You're all counting calories. Well, if you don't know what a calorie is, why are you counting it? And you all know, you're going to learn also today, why do you lose weight and gain it all back, and then you go on another diet and gain? I mean, it's this merry-go-round that we're on. We never get off it. I mean, temporarily you lose weight and then you gain it all back. We're going to go over all that with you today and show you that ends. That can end for you today. The diets that you're on, traditional diets, can end today. And you can go on something that'll change your life like it did hers. Well, look at everybody, 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise. What do you all think about that? TikTok, Wildfire, Be Kind joined, Sandra joined. Any of you, I'd love for you to comment. Can we get some taps? Let's get some likes going. We have 0 likes, really? This is all medical proof. Now, let's look at the second woman. 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at her body. Look at the change in her body. Again, I'd love for anybody to make a comment. What do you think about that? Is it the same woman? Did we Photoshop it? Is it AI? Is it fake? Is it real? Oh my God, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet. You'd never do this on a diet, number 1. And number 2, this is not a diet. Okay? Now, the next picture I'm going to show you is the daughter of a friend of mine. He's a realtor. Now, you're going to maybe think it's either a different woman or we Photoshopped it, which we didn't do. I wouldn't do, what, I'm going to Photoshop my friend's daughter? I don't think so. Look at this, everybody. 60 pounds in 3 months. Would anybody like to comment? 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her stomach area. Where's the loose skin? Is it a different woman? Again, I'd love for anybody to comment and tell me what you think. Dumas, Chai, let's see, who else? Real Stat, Teresa, Credit Restoration, Rocky Dog. Wow, lots of people coming on. Can we get some likes? Can we get some taps on that screen to let us know that you like this content and the information we're providing you? The last picture I'm going to show you, the before and after, before I explain exactly how they did it, what they did, etc. Where do you see this? This is an older man, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. You know what? And that's not the most important part of his story. Look at his lab work. See it in green there? A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124. You think any diets ever produced anything like that? Diets are finished. Diets are over. Let's get rid of them. I'm going to show you all the medical proof, even starting with Harvard Medical School. You know what they said? This title of the study, Stop Counting Calories. We'll get to that in just a couple moments. But let's go back to just kind of this is pretty much an average result on this, believe it or not, which is 5 pounds a week. How many of you would give anything to lose a pound a week on these diets and be able to maintain it? Because the other thing you have to understand, that picture is 8 years old. She's kept the weight off for 8 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Aren't you a little bit intrigued, everybody? Would anybody like to know how she did it? Hello, Aretha. Hello, Nina. Hello, Different Script joined us. How about Random? How about Jalmore? Hello. Okay, let's talk about how did she do this. With no exercise allowed, they wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Why? Because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. What I meant by that is that had they let them exercise, then we would have never known. What would this do on its own? Not that they're against exercise. Don't hear me say that. So what did they do? Well, first, after 40 years of research, now they're rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the whole world. They did 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people, every diet out there. People always lost weight initially, but 2/3 of the people ended up weighing more than when they started. So they said something's terribly wrong with what we're doing, and part of it was that they were also part of this calories in, calories out. Well, they realized, along with Harvard and lots of other people, it doesn't work. Why? Because the human body has no idea what a calorie is. None of you have even given me, I've given, how long have we had? We've had 10 minutes now. No one's given me the definition of a calorie, and yet you're all counting them. Not on this, you're not. So the researchers said and proved, which we've known all along, actually, that your body, you know what it runs on? It doesn't run on calories. It doesn't care about calories. It doesn't give a darn about a calorie. What it cares about is nutrition. And we all have a minimum amount of nutrition that we have to run the brain, the kidney, the liver, the heart, all our organs, right? When you go on a diet, what are you doing? You're reducing the quantity of food you're consuming, and by just common sense, what else are you reducing? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it triggers the starvation mode in the brain. And what does the brain have to do to survive? It thinks you're starving to death, and you are from a nutritional standpoint of view. So it immediately stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel and does two of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to yourself. One, it slows down your metabolism. So no matter what you do, you lose weight initially, then it goes to a trickle, then it stops, now you're plateaued. Eventually you quit the diet, you go off the diet, you gain everything back, and then you look for a new diet. Well, what the researchers said based on that, what they set out to do was to only pick foods with high levels of nutrition and smaller quantities. So it didn't have anything to do with how much you were eating, it had to do with what was in what you were eating. So they put together a food list. The researchers did, not us. And the researchers, they don't sell anything. They put together a food list you'd take to the grocery store. But only 30% of what you would normally buy in a month, you'd buy from your grocery store. Did you all hear that? You're going to purchase food from your grocery store, but you're only going to buy about 30% of what you bought last month in food. And the researchers picked out fats, proteins, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. And instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. Very important, okay? Because the researchers were calculating, they wanted you to have enough nutrition. They didn't care, and they wanted to make sure that you didn't have to have, a huge amount of food to get that amount of nutrition. The other 70% of what they gave to her, or she took, came from other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to places like Russia and Mongolia and Tibet and South America, New Zealand. And they found foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but very small amounts of food, okay? And this is not something you can buy in your local grocery store, even if it's organic, whole farmer's market, because some of the ingredients or some of the nutrients in these foods don't exist in North America. I'll give you two examples. Some of the nutrients come from Mongolia, and they've been proven to massively lower stress in your body. I mean, Genghis Khan gave these nutrients to his soldiers. Let's be real, okay? You going into war, you're going to be pretty stressed out. He was giving this to his soldiers, okay? Another ingredient comes from the Himalayas, and in the medical studies they proved it lowered inflammation in a month by 25%. This is validated with medical proof. It's not a marketing ploy, right? So they now had 30% of the food from the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits, and the other 70% from these exotic foods and nutrients from around the world. Then they invented two new ways of consuming the food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods. That was breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store list. Meal number 3, dinner from the grocery list. And a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, she's having 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. Because the other thing the researchers proved, it mattered how you consumed the food. Like how long in between each of the feedings. It's all laid out for you. They figured all that out, and that's what she did. Then 2 days a week, wait till you hear this, what she did. 2 days a week for 48 hours, she did what's called intermittent, complete new concept, intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating, only foods from around the world, nothing from the grocery store, and these foods had very small quantities of food, but huge amounts of nutrition. So she was literally fasting with nutrition. Look at the outcome, everybody. Look what happened. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise at all. Are you curious? I don't see anybody asking me questions. Bright O joined us, and TX Kyler joined us. Grizz joined us, Nicey. And we got one like. One like? Really? Can you please tap on your screens if you like this content? Look, I'm not telling you to brag, but I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I wrote 4 best-selling books with some of the top medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on PBS and over 1,500 live lectures around the world, including hospitals and universities and towns. And for 22 of my 23 years in the medical world, all of that, you know what it meant? 0. Why? Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial studies. Now we have the peer-reviewed human trial studies. And because of those studies, Women's World Magazine, this is the June 9th issue, it just came out a few days ago, the cover story of a mom and her mom and her daughter. I coached them. The daughter, who's 57, is a nurse. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mother, she lost 90 pounds in about 9 months. They both kept it off for over 2 years. This is not an advertisement. This is the cover story. You can see it. Over 50 protein miracle. You think any diets ever produced anything like this? I'd love some feedback. I'd love some input from all of you. Oh, we're up to 424 likes. Thank you. Gris, how? Okay. Stuffin' Fluffin' Boutique. That's a cool name. All right, Gris, we're going to go over it again, everybody. How in the world did she do this? Well, Gris, number one, it had nothing to do with counting calories. They could care less about counting calories. These researchers had done 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people on every calorie counting diet you can imagine. They abandoned that when they created this. They said, we need to concentrate on only one thing, and that isn't calories, nutrition. So Gris, you and me and everybody else, we run on a minimum amount of nutrition. But think about it. When you go on a diet, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. So by definition, what else you're slowing down or getting less of? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it freaks out. It goes in starvation mode, immediately stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cell, and turns to your muscles for fuel. Because you got to run your brain, your kidney, liver, your heart. But in survival mode, the body won't burn fat until you've burned through all your muscle, which is exactly what happens like when people get anorexia. So the researchers said, we need to do it differently. We're going to go and find foods with large amounts of nutrition in small quantities. So 30% of what you would buy or she bought from her grocery store. When I say 30%, if you took whatever you spent last month on food, only 30% of that amount you'd spend at the grocery store this month. And you're going to get proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But a list from the researchers, you're not going to get a calorie count. You're going to get serving sizes. Does that make sense to everybody? That's 30%. 30% of the food you're going to consume would come from your grocery store, all organic. The other 70% comes from other researchers who'd gone around the world for more than 20 years to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods, Grizz, with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients. Let me review. 30% of what you would consume or buy in a month at your grocery store. The other 70% from these researchers from around the world, those exotic foods that they found. Then they invented 2 completely new ways of eating. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day, starting with these exotic meals for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, she's having 4 meals a day. Now, the other thing they proved that really mattered, because that 5 day a week with 4 meals a day, they call it protein pacing. So it was basically pacing the nutrition over the course of a day. That was very important in the outcomes. 2 days a week, it became even more important because then she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store and only these exotic foods around the world, but this time they let her eat 8 times a day. Yeah, Grizz, she was eating about every hour and a half. So she was able to fast with nutrition. Well, look at the results. Look at those results, Grizz. I'd love for you to put in the comments, what are the exotic foods, Cindy? People always ask me that question, and I think I'm being evasive. It's not food the way you would normally think of it. Here's what I mean. It concentrated more on the nutrients in food groups rather than say, hey, we're going to give you more kale, we're going to give you more spinach, we're going to give you more tomatoes. No, it didn't work like that. Because in a lot of these ancient cultures around the world where people live to be 100 years old, a lot of their food they take as a liquid, like as a tea or with water, etc. So the thing that the researchers focused on was nutrients, was nutrition. I mean, some of the food groups they had 21 naturally occurring vitamins. Some of the foods they used had 70 trace ionic minerals. Now, you maybe don't even know what trace minerals are. It's not iron, calcium, magnesium. There's 70 that we need. And in the best organic food you can buy in North America, you get 20. Well, they found a food source that had all 70 trace ionic minerals. What are trace ionic minerals? Well, they're things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and selenium and molybdenum. So would you rather have 20? If you need 70, see, that's the problem with our food in this country. That's why we're never full. We're always hungry because we don't have enough nutrition, not because we don't have enough food, and certainly has nothing to do with calories. So the key to this was getting the food groups 30% from your grocery store, you'd have a grocery list, and these other exotic foods around the world, and then putting them together in these patterns, these eating patterns, for lack of a better term. 5 days a week, you're eating every 4 hours. You're eating 4 times a day, about every 2 to 3 hours, let's say. And then 2 days a week, you're eating 8 times a day, these small servings from a bulk stand, but huge amounts of nutrition, if that makes sense to you, Cindy. And then Kiana, and then Mag. Now, Cindy, did you hear me explain what they did? It wasn't just the foods. It was when they ate, how it was spaced out, etc. By the way, she not only lost that, but she's kept that weight off now for more than 8 years. Cindy, this is the daughter of a friend of mine. Look at this, 60 pounds in 3 months. What do you think about that, Cindy? Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. That's not photoshopped, it's not fake, it's not AI, it's not 3D, it's absolute. That's what happens. Cindy, I just explained to you, they're not foods, they're nutrients, okay? And our definition of food is different than when you're talking to people living to be 100 years old, which they did, some of these people. So they came from things like, they're more like nutrients, but they're not supplements. No, you would mix them with water, you'd make it as a tea. We teach you all that, okay? I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not 30% of what you eat, you got that from your grocery store. You're getting proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, fruits, etc. It is a little bit complicated, and it's completely different than anything else that we're actually doing, okay? So it's not like a more broccoli or more cauliflower or more, no, it doesn't work like that, okay? And again, what we offer to all of you, including you, Christy, is this. You can go to that website right above my head, the New Health Conversation. It's 100% free to go there. There's a huge interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. They're the ones that picked these nutrients. That was not me. They did that. They put the food list together, and then they figured out how to teach people how to consume it in a different way. And if you like what you see right there, Cindy, you can scroll down and get a free coach. As a matter of fact, they'll even show you, there is a food list. Maybe you can read it. Let me see if I can show you up close. You see where it says there, recommended food list, and then there's the schedule of what you do. And then these little boxes, the researchers who created this actually coach you every day, and they don't sell anything, they don't have a company, they don't have any products. Now, why would they do that? Because they said, we spent 40 years of our lives trying to find the secret to obesity. They found it, and they're being credited with it. There are major researchers in the world saying, you've made every diet obsolete. I understand it's different, and you want me to give you an example of more broccoli or more spinach. It doesn't work like that. Because some of the foods, it was what's in the food, not the food itself, that the natives in those countries used. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they maybe extracted the nutrients out of those foods. But the guideline was when people living to be 100 years old, I'm paying attention. Well, not me, but the researchers did, if that makes sense, okay? Yes, Jamie, I'll tell you how in just 1 second. Cindy, what are the nutrients? Okay, for all of you. 70 trace ionic minerals. You get 20, Cindy, in the best food you can buy in this country. And what are they? That's not gold. I'm sorry, that's not iron, calcium, magnesium. They're things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and selenium and the other thing, 22 naturally occurring vitamins, okay? Electrolytes. High levels of what's called prebiotic fiber from these foods. Now, why is that important? Because probiotics are good, but prebiotic fiber is way better because it makes good gut flora. Now, to back up what I'm saying to you, there's a huge study that was just published, I've got it right here in my hand, in Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the world. Let me read the title of the study to talk about like the prebiotic fiber and why this worked. Gut microbiome remodeling and metabolic profile improves drastically in response to protein pacing and intermittent nutritional fasting compared to any form of calorie-restricted diet. And I'm not trying to be evasive. It's not like what you think. Just the 70 minerals alone, you're getting 20 in the best organic food you can get here. But there's also another thing about the absorption of amino acids. Now, you've all been told to eat, a gram of protein for every pound you weigh. Well, that's an old wives' tale, but it's not true. Because 10 years ago in Europe, they developed a process through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. When you ingest food, proteins from plants or animals, you get 20 amino acids. That sounds great, but it's not. Because the only thing that matters to your body is what percentage, 0 to 100 of those aminos are being absorbed. So to give you an idea, any animal protein is only 30% absorption. 70% is toxic waste. Plant proteins are even worse. Their absorption is 15% of amino acids. The researchers found a source where the where the amino acid absorption is 91%. That's why, look at this. That's why with no exercise, they measured, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass because one of those amino acids called leucine is how you make muscle in your body. So you'd have to eat 3 times as much steak, chicken, liver, fish to get the same benefit. And what was their key to this whole thing, Cindy, was giving you less food but more nutrition. So those are just some of the examples. Okay? And the other thing I would tell you, Cindy, those suppliers who supply 70% of what you'd consume, they give you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days. You'd show me anything else on the internet like that. And nothing's 100%. I wouldn't be that dumb to say that. But you get, if you want, it's up to you. You can go and see the medical proof or not, or you can count calories and go to your local store and think you're doing good by counting your macros and I'm not picking on you, Cindy. I'm talking in general now. It doesn't work, everyone. Diets are the biggest failure on the planet. Here's Medicare. Let me read this new study to all of you, and then I'll explain to the new people, I'll explain to you what did she do to do this. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. This is Medicare saying this, not me. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any form of dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. Until now, and this is not a diet. Does that make sense to everybody? So let's talk about what she did. So Jamie, I know you were asking me about this. So, and again, Cindy, please don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to be evasive. This is pretty complicated stuff. But all I can tell you is look at the result. And you don't have to figure out anything. You get the serving sizes, you get the timing of when you're going to eat, and you get a free coach. Free coaching the whole time. So anyway, okay, Jamie, what did they do? So the problem with all diets is I hope you would agree with this, Jamie, is some form of you telling you to calories in, calories out, calorie counting, reduce calories, etc. Total nonsense. Your body, Jamie, has no idea what a calorie is. As a matter of fact, I've now been waiting for almost 30 minutes for someone to give me the definition of a calorie. No one's been able to do it. In a year, I've had 4 people get the definition right. I didn't know what a calorie was 23 years ago, so I don't feel bad. So calorie counting is complete waste of time. The only thing the body runs on is a minimum amount, not of calories, everybody, but nutrition. Does everybody get that? When you go on a diet, you're reducing the amount of nutrition you're getting. And what else you're reducing the amount of food you're getting, and what are you doing at the same time? Reducing nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition to run your brain, your heart, all your organs, right? It freaks out, goes into starvation mode, and causes you to stop accessing the fuel inside your fat cells. So where does it get energy? To run the body from your muscles. And as you begin to lose muscle mass, the brain has no choice. Not only does it slow down your metabolism, and that's why the diet loss goes to a trickle, and then you plateau, and then you get frustrated, and you quit the diet, you gain everything back, and then you look for a new diet. We all know that's the yo-yo effect, right? But that's why it's occurring. Do you know in all the studies now, 25 to 40% of what you lose on any, I don't care if it's macros, I don't care if it's carb recycling, 25 to 40% of what you're losing is lean muscle mass. Not only does it slow down your metabolism, but also slows down your own immune system. So by you going on these diets, by counting calories, you're actually making yourself unhealthy. Even Harvard Medical School is saying, stop counting calories. Everybody's realizing it was wrong. It's stupid. It really is. So the research said, wait a minute, if we're going to make this work, if we're going to give people less food, can we give them more nutrition? Not more calories. And that's what they set out to do. So they graded a grocery list, Jamie, that you would get proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vegetables, and fruit. But instead of giving you calorie amounts, they're giving you serving sizes. Because these researchers, the top people in the world, calculated it's based on the serving size, the amount of nutrition that they wanted to make sure you got. But only 30% of what you consumed in a month came from the grocery store. And Cindy was asking me before, the other 70% comes from these exotic food nutrients. Maybe that makes it simpler for everybody. It comes from the nutrients in foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. And those nutrients would represent huge amounts of nutrition, but very small amounts of food that you would, say, chew, to give you an idea. Hold on, everybody. Huh. I'm sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what the heck's going on. It's an internet thing. It wasn't me. I can't talk that fast, believe me. So you can't hear us? You can't hear me? Really? What? Hello, can everybody hear me now? Can somebody tell me yes? You're back. Oh, because I think that was the internet glitch that happened. Okay. So can't hear you. Okay, Ken, now Ross, you're back. Ross, yes. Okay, fine. Like I said, I apologize. I don't know what the heck's going on with the internet today, but obviously I'm having a problem. So Jamie, does that make sense? Do you want me to clarify anything else? I'm here. This is live to support you. We got 1,700 likes. We've been 31 minutes. That's pretty good now. Let's get some more taps on that screen. Now, what I want to show you next, before we come back to this from new people that are coming on, they're going to ask me, how in the world did she do that? Let's look at the medical evidence why whatever diet you're on now is doomed to failure. First, let's start with Harvard Medical School. Their big study. I'm reading from the study. None of this is my opinion. Stop counting calories. They said, most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500, and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. They went on to say the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not just antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's exactly what these researchers did. They have nothing to do with Harvard. That's number one. Okay, now let's look at another big study. The title, Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. I'm sure this is going to make some of you unhappy or uneasy. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count and restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. They went on to say counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, two factors that are known to cause weight gain. So you're going on these diets to gain weight. Did you know that? Unless you don't believe in science. I mean, that's what they're saying. They're studying all these people that are on these diets. But let's talk about why counting calories can't work. Here's the medical reason. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores the body adjusts control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. How many more studies do you need to see that whatever diet you're on now, it's not going to work long term? 2/3 are going to weigh more than when you started. I mean, we're researching. We're just bringing you the proof. We don't have any products to sell. The research on they were looking for the solution for obesity and health, and they found it and proved it. And my God, there's 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Unless you all think you're going to go, this is a free website. You can see it in blue above my head. The New Health Conversation. It's free to go there. We won't contact you. Why? Because we shouldn't have to sell you or convince you. The medical proof is there. By the way, anybody put in the chat, do you know anybody else on social media showing you peer-reviewed human trial studies? Any of them? No one's ever been able to produce one yet. Why are you following people? Why are you entrusting your health to someone who's giving you an opinion? Why are you doing it? Because that's the only thing we knew to do until these researchers. By the way, these studies were started 13 years ago. 2012. They take a long time. They cost a lot of money. They were done on human beings. They weren't on mice, rats, or chimpanzees. And yet I know that almost all of you are going to go back to whatever diet you're on now. People won't even put in the chat and tell me. It's working properly now. Good, good. But people they won't even put in the chat. I just ask, how long would you take to lose 20 pounds? People won't even tell me, right? So Ross, do you understand? Did you hear me explain what you would physically do? Well, Ross, look at this gentleman. Everybody look at this picture. An older gentleman, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. But look at his lab work. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides 242 to 124. I was on with a major health professional, super nurse, I don't know what you want to call her. And she said the thing that amazed her the most when she looked at the medical studies was for the first time in history, they proved inflammation, which we all suffer from, which the medical community says the underlying cause of every disease out there. It came down 25% in a month. No diet has ever had it move a gram. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical claims. But you got to understand, we have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. We have people with kidney transplants. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical claims. All we're doing is sharing this is in the public domain. You can go see these studies. But we put them on our website to just make it easier for you. I'll show you the website, every one of you right now, so you don't think I'm making this up. There's the website. Nothing to buy. None of my books. Those modules like 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all modules. Well, number 1 is an interview with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Why wouldn't you want to see that free? And we're not going to call you. We're not going to contact you. The only way that we'll contact you is if you contact us. I don't know what else to do for everybody. And I can't overcome your skepticism. But my gosh, I would think you'd at least be intrigued that you can go and see the medical proof for free. And here's the other. Differences. Number 1, you get free coaching. The preparation's completely different, and we're getting results that they could only dream of. It's great stuff. We use some of it, but in a totally complete and different way. Okay, Firecracker? So who else? I don't know. We're having internet problems for some reason. Can everybody hear me now okay? Are you hearing me? You all can hear me okay? Oh, thanks for the rose, AJ. That's very nice of you. I haven't seen you for a few days, AJ. What? You're hiding out? Oh, yes, you're hiding out, or it's okay. You're entitled. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, AJ. Don't get mad at me. I'm happy you've joined us this afternoon. But again, for some reason, are you all able to see me in real time? I'm not jerky. It's something going on with the internet. I don't know if it's the internet, the connection in our building, or whatever, but I guess we'll just have to work through it. So if you see me freeze, or you see all of a sudden me doing that, it's not me doing it, it's the internet, okay, everybody? So what you do, if you do it, to answer your question, Firecracker, this is intellectual property. It's called the Blueprint for Success. There's nobody else that has it except for us. And we've developed this over the course of over 20 years with some of the top medical doctors in the world. And it's everything from the food lists, which you can see right here. See the recommended food list, to the daily schedules, to these little blocks here. They're daily tutorials, daily videos from the researchers explaining why it's safe, how to do it, etc. It's all backed up by medical science. But the other thing that is also really important, I did discover this medical syndrome for all of you. It's called TDOS. T for toxicity, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, and S is for stress. It's a medical syndrome. It's registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. Yeah, Peter Greenlaw right there. I did discover it. Well, what does it mean? It means that we're drinking, we're breathing, eating chemicals, whether you know it or not, and your body has taken that chemical and stuffing it inside your fat cells. When you look at her day 1, you see her stomach. That's the fat cells expanding as a result of the chemical coming in the fat cell and causing the fat cell to expand. And you look at day 30, because the researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. and proved that this was removing chemicals from the body. And by the way, no exercise whatsoever. She did not exercise. She was not allowed to exercise. And look at the results. And then you look at someone like Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days with no exercise. Look at her body. Look at how much she shrank. And then my friend's daughter, April, 60 pounds in 3 months. That's not Photoshop. That's real. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her stomach area. I understand you all probably think it's fake or it's AI. It's not. It's not Photoshop. That's absolutely what happened to her. Wow, AJ! Wow! Oh my gosh, I'm so, that's wonderful. AJ, have you talked to Sarah? Because again, you need to think about, are you going to keep going? What are you going to do? Because you're obviously going to run out of stuff. So make sure you talk to her. Yeah, AJ. Oh, did you see that, everybody? She's lost 22 pounds in 23 days. AJ, thank you for trusting us. Thank you for believing in this. But AJ, in your wildest concern, would you ever believe that was even possible? Yeah, let's all congratulate her. Can we give her let's give her some love. Let's give her some likes. Oh my gosh, AJ, listen to that, everyone. Oh my gosh, 22 pounds and 20, that's almost a pound a day, everybody. So she beat even, look at Kristen here, one of our stars, 5 pounds a week. AJ, you're at about 7 pounds a week. Fantastic, fabulous, everybody. Come on, let's give her some, oh my gosh. Can we tap the screen and throw some love out there for her? Oh my gosh, AJ, I'm so excited. AJ, I bet you look good. I probably have to go shopping for some new clothes. Am I pretty close? EJ, same pictures all the time. What did you want me to do, EJ? Do you want me to, there better pictures? Do you have better, EJ, do you have better pictures than that? Where's your, and EJ, where's your peer-reviewed human trial studies? Then don't come on the podcast. You don't have to be here. It's free to be here. I mean, what was that a doctor yesterday and he wanted to know what was going on? No, I didn't have any doctors yesterday knowing what was going on. And she says, love it, firecracker, love it. Yes, exactly right. So EJ67, are you referring that we're using the same pictures? Well, no, actually, I don't think you saw this picture. I know you didn't. How about that one? How about that one, EJ? How about 200 pounds in less than a year? Is that enough for you? Look at the change in her body. Where's the loose skin? 200 pounds. What more do we need to show you? And you got to understand, I've seen all these, dude. Okay, dude. See, I'm not going to put up with that. I'm sorry, you're off. You're right into the sunset. Goodbye. Have a nice time, because this is just an irritant, which you are. I'm not going to allow you to mess it up for other people. You're not. Okay, good. He's gone, everybody. I don't know if it's a him or her. See, these people come on, they don't have one shred of medical training, they don't have one shred of medical evidence, and they come on and give opinions. Is anybody tired of looking, AJ, are you tired of seeing her results? You beat her, AJ, you beat her. There's no product, Brandy. There's no product. I'm going to explain to you how she did this in a moment, Brandy, okay? So here's what's so different about this, Brandy. It has nothing to do with, look, you see, Brandy, did you just come on? AJ, she's on here. She's on 23 days. She's down 22 pounds. What do you think about that? You think, dude, AJ, dude. No, that's disrespectful. I wouldn't call you dude. I don't know you. I don't know you from Adam. Oh my gosh, menopausal women, it's fantastic for men. Night sweats, mood swings, hot flashes, all that gets way, way better in a really short period of time. Yeah, Brandy, amazing, okay? So, Brandy, now I'm going to explain to every one of you, okay? Now that we got our heckler out of the way, because that's all they had to do this afternoon. Go watch golf or something. I think the PGA might be on. Anyway, the researchers that created this, Brandy, are ranked the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the entire world. They've done 100 studies, Brandy, 100 studies, thousands of people over 40 years. And you know what they concluded? All diets don't work. Got it? Why? Because counting calories is the most ridiculous thing that anybody's ever done. When you count calories, your body doesn't know what a calorie is. Why are you counting calories? See, here's the secret. Our body runs on a minimum amount of nutrition, not calories. So when you're hungry, you might think you're hungry for calories, but your body doesn't know what a calorie is. It's hungry for nutrition. So think about it. When you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food you consume. And I don't care what the name of the diet is, right? Well, what are you also reducing? Nutrition. When your brain senses not enough nutrition, it goes and stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cells and turns to what for fuel? Your muscles. When that happens, you're doing two of the most unhealthy things you've ever done to yourself that you didn't even know you were doing. And that's, as you lose muscle, the brain slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on these diets and gain everything back. But worse, when you lose lean muscle mass on any of these diets, you're slowing down your own immune system. So my good friend EJ that was just on, good luck on a diet as you become unhealthy, because that's what's going to happen. None of it's my opinion. The great news, I only rely on peer-reviewed human trial studies, not people making snide comments on a Saturday afternoon with not one shred of medical evidence. Hell, I've devoted 23 years of my life to nutritional research. I've written 4 best-selling books. I appeared 20 times on PBS and did 1,500 live lectures around the world. To be here today with all of you. So what the researchers did, they said, we want to create something new, Brandy, where we're going to pick the foods that have higher levels of nutrition and still lower quantities of the food. So 30% of what she consumed, and you would get a grocery list, Brandy, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. You would literally take it to the grocery store. Those foods are not based on calorie counts. They're based on serving size. Does that make sense, Brandy? You'll get all that. Because the other thing we offer here, we coach you for free. We don't have any products. We don't sell you anything. There's no products. This is food. So 30% of what so took your food budget last month, only 30% of what you spent last month at the grocery store, you're going to spend this month because of these food groups. You got it? The other 70% comes from these exotic foods from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, that represent huge amounts of nutrition, but very small quantities of food, Brandy. This is really important. So now they had the ingredients, right? 30% from your grocery store, you have the grocery list. The other 70%, our coaches show you how to buy directly from them. See, people are worried because the foods are coming from Russia and Mongolia and halfway around the world. Oh my God, it's going to be so expensive. Most people feel, at best, maybe you're going to spend another $100 or more in a whole month. Depends obviously on your food budget, right? So it's not like $1,000 more or $500 more, nothing like that, okay? Now, what happens is, now they have the ingredients, and what do you need if you're going to cook? A recipe. So the researchers created 2 totally new ways of eating food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic meals for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, nothing from the exotic foods, dinner from the grocery list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. Those 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, that's called protein pacing. Now, why is that important? Because the researchers figured out it wasn't just they were going to give her lots of nutrition in smaller quantities of food, but by spreading it out with certain time intervals in between, it was the most effective thing to prevent her from ever burning muscle, which she didn't. The people in here couldn't even, they didn't allow them to exercise, Brandy. They gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. What do you think about that? With no exercise. Now, for my NS Stewart, for the menopause question, the biggest thing that this thing does, 2 days a week, she did something called, listen to me carefully, everybody, intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food at all from the grocery store. Only these exotic foods. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. What? Yes. And each one of those meals had small amounts of food, but huge amounts of nutrition. We'll look at the results. But here's the other thing you need to know and what impacts menopause, for example. This is a medical syndrome that every one of us have, including me, called TDOS. T for toxicity, D for deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. patent office. You'll notice Peter Greenlaw. That is me. I did discover it. But what does it mean? It means that we're absolutely breathing, drinking, eating chemicals that our body is storing inside our fat cells. And what does the fat cell do when you put the chemical inside it? It expands. Look at her waist on day 1, Brandy, and look at her waist on day 30. That's with no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, no gym, no anything. They had to wear Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Or if we look at Curtis, this older guy, look at his stomach go down in 30 days. Well, he lost 40 pounds and 52 inches. You kidding me? How's that look? So are you really amazed now, Brandy? Isn't this just the coolest thing ever? Now, the other thing that I want to really emphasize to all of you, this whole program, the research, you know what they call it? R2M. You know what it stands for? Race to maintenance. The only reason, that picture you're looking at is 8 or 9 years old, and they've been able to keep the weight off for 8 or 9 years. I did this 23 years ago. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, Brandy. I've kept it off for 23 years. My own wife went from, listen to this, she went from a size 12 to a 6. In 14 days, she's still a size 6, 23 years later. How would you like to do that? I mean, she's pretty happy, trust me. This is not a diet, everybody. If you think you're going into this with a diet mentality, you're on the wrong stratosphere. And all of you can go to the free website right above my head in blue, the new health conversation. If you go there, we won't contact you. Did you hear me? If you go to that website, we're not contacting you. We want you to have the chance to look at the medical proof, for crying out loud, medical proof. And then you get to this, because see right above it where it says free coaching to ensure your success. Can everybody put a yes? Does everybody see that? Because some people had trouble reading the new health conversation, which is the free website. So NS Stewart, do you understand now? Now let me read to you the impact of these chemicals that we didn't even know were stored in our body until 2005. It'll give you a clue into why this might help you tremendously with menopause and some of the other things. Yes, Brand, you're exactly right, Brandy, 1,000,000%. But NS Stewart, here we go. Let me read to you from this study. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals that are playing a role in a generation of obesity. Obesogens, simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, natural compounds in soy, oh, thanks. She's one of our people. This is so wonderful. Wow, I mean, this is just great. Oh, just is the audio back on, NS Stewart? No audio. AJ, you can't hear me? Hello, because it's showing on my end that the audio is working. I don't understand. Can you everybody give me a comment? Is the audio back or not? Hello, everybody. Hello, paging, everybody. Is the audio back on or not? I'm connected to the internet. I just checked that. That's fine. It is now. Okay, so N.S. Stewart, what was the last thing you heard me talking about? Did you hear me read about the obesogens? Yeah, user 606, the audio is back on. No, it's very important, N.S. Stewart 72. I want to make sure you heard my explanation of how this could potentially really help. It could not you use the 606. You didn't understand about the chemicals either. So I'm happy to do it again. Don't worry, use the 606. I'll do it anyway. But I want to make sure, N.S. Stewart, did you hear when I talked about the obesogens? Give me a yes or no. Obviously, use the 606 didn't, because I must have lost the audio. Is that what happened, do you think? So N.S. Stewart, please put a comment in there just so I know. I want to support you. No, you cut out. Okay, all right. So let me go back and read about these chemicals. Now, so you all know, I did discover this medical syndrome that we all have, including me. T for toxicity, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, and S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, and every living, breathing person in the world has this medical syndrome. I don't care what you think, you're toxic. And what your body is doing to protect you as you ingest the chemicals, the water, air, food, your body takes the chemical and stuffs it inside the fat cell. And that's why when you look at Kristen, for example, look at her stomach on day 1 and then look at her stomach on day 30. These researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving this protocol, first and foremost, was a detox. First and foremost, it was helping the body get rid of the chemicals. Do you know that most, like women, lost a whole dress size in the first 7 days? I'm sure, AJ, you could support that. I would. I would bet that, listen, she's on here. I didn't know she was going to be on. I'm delighted she is. She's lost 22 pounds in 23 days on this. It's not a commercial. She's not coming on to promote me. She's just talking about her own story. And I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. So let's read about the chemicals that are causing you to gain weight and become unhealthy as a society, right? So let me read the again. And everybody, let me know. Make sure, give me a yes, you can hear me, okay? The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to the research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. They give these chemicals a name, they call them obesogens. Obesogens, simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system. Are you listening, ladies? Leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds in soy, artificial hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed on our produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, menopause maybe, huh? Blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone in listening men, and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. What are you all doing about obesity before right now? No, was everybody able to hear that explanation? I want to make sure it's very important you understand that this protocol is not a diet, it's a detox. The weight loss is a throw-in because of the fact that the body, as you get rid of the chemicals, it shrinks the fat. See, anybody tell you burning fat on a diet or running or whatever, it's a lie. We're born with a certain number of fat cells, we die with a certain number of fat cells, and the fat cells can either expand or contract. Most people come to us and say, look, it's not just how much weight I've gained, it's the amount of fat on my body. So again, 606 or Brandy, did you, oh, that thumbs up. So you did hear it that time. Use it, 606. Please give me a thumbs up or yes. And then NS Stewart 72, please give me an answer. Did you get to hear that explanation that time? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but obviously I have no control over what's going on with either in my building, the internet, etc. I do, 3 or 4 of these lives per day. Sometimes we have technical glitches. What's weird is there's nobody in my office building today except for me. So it's not like an overuse of the internet. So hopefully we won't have any trouble. Use the 606 thumbs up. Now, all of you, including user 606, including Brandy, I want to show you, you all can go for free. You see right above my head, above where it says Peter Greenlaw, see the new health conversation. Does everybody see that? Give me a yes, give me a thumbs up. Listen to me, everyone. That's a free medical website. There's nothing to buy on that website. The only thing on there is the medical proof, including an interview with the #1 nutrition weight loss physiologist in the world who invented this. We are not going to call, if you go there, we're not going to contact you. So don't be disappointed if you go there and we don't call you, because we set it up that way. We want you to be in charge for a change. If you like what you see, then scroll down and get a free coach. Wait a minute, why wouldn't you do that? The coach is not there to sell or convince you. They'll answer all your questions. And if you decide, they'll get your grocery list and show you how to buy the other foods directly from the suppliers, not from the coaches or these researchers. I know but listen to this. So 70% about what you're going to spend is right on the website. 100% money back guarantee. 100% money back guarantee. What's your risk? That you don't do it and you go on a diet and you lose weight and gain it all back. I mean, a lot of you weren't on when I read this. But I guess my main question to all of you would be, why wouldn't you go there? Right? Can't hear you again. Really? Really? All right, well, I'm going to have to end this. I'm really sorry, everybody. And can you hear me now? Can you all hear me now? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, maybe. Please, thumbs up. Can't hear you again. Oh, my gosh. This is really frustrating. Hold on, let's just see. No, I'm still connected. I still got lots of bars. I don't understand what could possibly be going kaflooey here. So can you all hear me now? Am I back? Back now. All right. So I was going to close out anyway because I got to see if I can get these computer problems fixed. But as I leave you, all of you that have been on here, wow, we got 2,400 likes. Thank you all very much. So use the 606 or Brandy or any of the other people. Please give me yeses. You see the medical website above my head, the new health conversation. The new health conversation. It's free to go there. We won't contact you, I promise. And if you like what you see, then you can scroll down and get a free coach. You see right there, free coaching to ensure your success, to answer all your questions. So 606, do you see it? Are you clear? You can go there if you want to. Yes? Was that the yes you were giving me? That you see the website and you understand you can go there and we're not going to hassle you. We're not going to call you. We're going to let you go there and you explore all the medical proof. Brandy, the same thing. So Brandy, you give me a yes that you see the website, the new health conversation. Yes? All right, everybody. I'm going to go now because I want to see whether or not I can fix this internet problem. I really don't know what's going on.